GoPro just took their flagship camera, the HERO10, cut off all its fat to make it the lightest and slimmest Hero camera ever, so you can mount it on an FPV drone and get shots like these. Good morning from Chicago. This is possibly the most thrilling shoot since I crashed a drone into an erupting volcano. May my name forever be linked on the internet with this incident. But today we won't be crashing any drones because I'm teaming up with the two most talented FPV filmmakers that I possibly know. And we will try out the Hero Bones not only here in downtown Chicago but also in the ridiculously cool Google office. And we will cover a lot of information, for both existing FPV pilots as well as filmmakers that want to get started in this space as a creative tool. So, see you in the Google office. All right, let's go into the office and get to work. I'm here with Troy from Drone Media Chicago. He usually shoots drone footage for Netflix, HBO, Paramount, Nike, but today we secured his skills to shoot a very special office tour for this utterly ridiculous Google office here. But hi Troy, thanks for doing this.
What's going on, Joey?
Tell me, what makes these small FPV drones so special and what are the filmmaking use cases?
We are seeing so many awesome use cases with FPV drones now today from anywhere in the film space, the content creators, commercial real estate, pretty much where if you could take a small camera and put it through something the size of, your hand like this, we're using drones like this to come up with shots that we've never been able to do before.
And what makes the Bones then such a game changer?
I mean, so we've been asking for this for a while in the FPV community.
Been listened, maybe?
Yeah, I think they're finally starting to listen. As the drones have gotten smaller, we've need to find cameras that were smaller and lightweight enough to fit on something the size of, a 2.5, 3.5 inch drone.
Yep.
So in the past, we've had to take the GoPros completely apart by hand, often destroying them. I never really did it personally because I think I would probably ruin every single one. But now we have a turnkey solution from GoPro where, it just turns on and it just works and saves all the hassle of, having to, potentially destroy your GoPro in the process.
Well, here we go. Let's check out some more footage from here. All right, what are we doing here?
Just your typical fly the drone out of the refrigerator shot that everybody does. No, so what we're doing is we're gonna have the drone here. The shot's gonna actually be the drone flying out of the refrigerator. So we're gonna pick up the sparkling water. As we do walk over here, the drone is going to fly out, and that's gonna be the opening shot of our sequence. So we'll see if it works.
Everything is gonna be alright.
All right, let's talk about specs. So at the core, the Bones boasts the same image quality and stabilization as its bigger brother, the HERO10, where you have the same sensor that is a 5.3K image at 60 frames per second. You get also the 4K 120 and the same image stabilization in the Hyper Smooth 4.0. Where it differs is in its weight and size, so you can make it fly. Now the Bones only weighs 54 grams compared to its bigger brother that is 150 grams. To basically cut the weight. They stripped it off all the things that you don't need when flying a GoPro on a drone. Display, gone. GPS, gone. The speakers, when did you ever listen to GoPro footage that is on the drone? Gone. And the battery is gone too, and the metal enclosure to keep it safe, gone. It's actually now in a robust plastic casing that is not waterproof though, but you can still use your same ND filters that you've been using on the HERO10. So there you go. Whee! It actually costs $499 if you're not subscribed to the GoPro subscription. It comes with Reelsteady 2.0 though, which is a program that costs $99 usually, so you can get that. That's a good start. If you're already a subscriber to GoPro, you only paid $349, so think about that. Alright, let's talk about how you mount and connect the bones to your drone, because there, if you are already an established FPV flyers, you may have some questions. So Nikolai, walk us through how you connect these bones.
So if you guys already know about anything about naked GoPros, it does come with the single naked GoPro mount, but in the box it does come with a little adapter to adapt it to any of your current GoPro mounts or anything like that. It does come with the wire in the box that you might seen with other naked GoPros. So for us, we had to do a little jerry rigging and add it to this plug so we could put it into the balance lead of the battery. But if you guys want to use this permanently on one drone, you can wire it straight to your motherboard in the drone to power it, and then you'll also be able to control the start and stop of the camera from your remote controller without having to click any buttons on it.
Talking about how you can control the bones, there are a couple of ways. One being with the RC and that trigger. There are a couple of buttons in the back, so you can turn it on that way and you can trigger the recording that way. That's what we've been doing. But if you want to initially set it up and dial in your settings, you can use the GoPro Quick app, just like you connect it once with a QR code and you're done. And then in the past, like most people, when they had these custom built, stripped down GoPros, you use basically QR codes to dial in the settings. You had to print them out. There's an app now, but you can use that even. It's baked into the software now as well. And if you have one of those remotes, you can use that too. The settings that we've been using are 5.3K and 4:3 mode with 24 frames, 30 frames per second, depending on the use case. But what you should definitely consider is actually turning hyper smooth on. Now this may be new to you if you've been using a stripped down GoPro or flying a GoPro on an FPV drone before, because usually you would put it through Reelsteady, which we are talking about in the latter part of the video. But what's new is that now with hyper smooth on, you can actually still run it through Reelsteady and get better, smoother stabilization out of that. But I asked the GoPro guys, the answer is actually there's a little bit more of a crop, from like 15% if you just like run it through Reelsteady, and if you run it with hyper smooth on and then Reelsteady, it's 16% crop. So there's just a little bit loss of frame, but not that much. But what you gain basically is that if you turn hyper smooth on while you're recording already, because of the compression, you get actually a better image quality out if you turn it on right from the get-go, which makes sense because you have a lower pixel count for the GoPro to compute, so you get a little bit of a better image quality. Also for the day, for the shoot, we have a mascot today. It's Bone Birdie, because we make the bones fly. Dad joke number 522. But one of the reasons that why I didn't get into this custom FPV world yet and just like flew around with my DJI FPV is because there's a lot of tinkering involved. We've already seen it. Now with the bones, that camera tinkering is basically taken out, and it takes one hassle away from me. But like what would I need if I've been like a DJI FPV pilot or like just like a drone enthusiast and want to get started? Aside from the camera, what do I need to get started?
So if you already have the DJI FPV drone, you actually can use the exact same goggles. These are the V2 ones that came with actually my DJI FPV drone.
Okay, Nikolai, why are you laying down?
So I'm laying down because these antennas that are on my goggles are very, very directional, and since we're flying super high up, I'm trying to get them pointed to where that drone is as good as possible, so that means laying straight down and looking up.
What like on the drone side, what else, what do I need? Like the frame,
well,
like
sadly,
like, is it...
unlike the goggles, you do have to get a new controller. I highly recommend this. This is the TBS Tango 2.
And those frames, like the drones themselves, they come pre-made already, because like everybody soldering and whatnot with these things, which is like definitely something I don't, as a filmmaker who's just using it as another creative tool, I don't want to waste my time setting these things up or building them. So they exist already, you can buy them pre-built?
Yeah,
or?
you can. There's a lot of websites. Reelsteady Quads is a great one. They do sell pre-built ones. This one's pre-built, another one's pre-built. I also highly recommend getting Liftoff or one of the other simulators and messing around in that just to get good at flying, because unlike the DJI FPV, you do have to remember these are not smart drones. This will not stop against a wall. If this disconnects from your remote controller, it will just drop from the sky.
Talking about computers, let's go inside and stabilize the footage that we shot today. Well, you shot it, I was just directing. So like, do the spinny thing there, and see how Reelsteady 2.0 works. Now, Hypersmooth has not been the most reliable or best image stabilization solution for your GoPro FPV footage. This is why software like Reelsteady emerged that allows you to tap into the GoPro's gyro data and stabilize the footage in post and give you much more flexibility. In 2020 though, GoPro acquired Reelsteady, and now for the first time it is integrated in the GoPro player with Reelsteady 2.0. Let me tell you, it's so much faster and more convenient that it's actually a joy to use. A few highlights for me are the real-time playback, which reflects any changes that you make to the stabilization in real time right away. I'm using an M1 Max as well, so maybe that's helping me, but also the export render times are ludicrous fast now if you compare it to Reelsteady 1.0. And you can also batch export, huge deal. Before you had to go one clip export, and since it took a while, it was always annoying that you had to go to your laptop and trigger the next render. And lastly, also the interface is much more convenient and intuitive, so all in all, someone did some legit code cleanup. But with that, let's go and hit the road one more time. All right, will I get one of these Cinewhoop drones? I don't know yet, but I'm definitely more tempted. Make sure to check out Nikolai's and Troy's social. If you have any questions or thoughts on the Hero Bones, let us know down in the comment section below. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe, give this video a like. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Have a good morning, have a good night, wherever you are around this beautiful planet. Bye bye.